We live.
All right. Throw the yes sirs in the chat, y'all. Throw the yes sirs in the chat.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Throw
sir.
the yes sirs in the chat.
We're gonna be eating off Twitch one day, man.
Is that your Guyton voice?
No, that's not my guiding voice. That's not my
That'd be
my guiding voice.
disrespectful,
If I was doing a guiding voice, it would be like much more like Guyton has a very monotone voice. Like even when he's excited, it's like there's not an inflection in pitch. It literally is just his voice higher. So like that wouldn't be what his voice sounds like to me. But you know, I digress. Speaking of impressions, who's the best impression y'all have ever seen? Like what's the best impression? What's the impression that's so good that you like looked at the original person like, no, you not him or her no more. They're you now.
Oh, I'm trying to think of one that might be off the wall because, of course, we've seen like the Jay Farrows and the Jamie Foxxes and those like that.
I'm gonna take some low hanging fruit right now, and I don't care if it's cheap. I'm gonna take it anyway. I dead ass did not know that Tina Turner was Tina Turner because of how good Angela Bassett did. Like I saw an actual picture of Tina Turner one day, and I'm like, who's that lady that they're calling Tina Turner?
You know what? That's low-key kind of facts because when you kids, all you really seen is the movie. Like, you wasn't banging Tina Turner music videos like that.
I mean, but the thing is, though, like Michael Jackson, right? We all saw The American Dream, right? Like, everybody parents made them sit down and watch that show.
Right.
Like, all 12 parts of it. Like, we all saw it. None of us was like, that's Michael Jackson.
Yo,
like,
let's see. Flex Washington play Michael Jackson.
I'll give y'all another good one, actually, bro. She got a couple movies, though. The Whitney Houston movies. Like, you know, like we knew Whitney, but she never did get old to look completely different. The new one, she did a real good job where
Chris, stop it. Really? She did that good? I never saw the movie.
I ain't seen it.
Like, bro, I ain't a big Whitney Houston guy, but I was like, when I did my research after I watched it, she actually, you know, she did the attic, all that stuff she did kind of to the T. Like I'm talking like fiend behavior, all that type of shit. Bobby Brown beating her up and doing all.
She hit the "I love you, Bobby" in full force.
Bruh.
You know what? I got mine. I don't know the person's name, but I only think of it because first time I heard it, I wasn't looking at my phone, like I wasn't paying attention. Y'all ever seen the girl on Instagram that be impersonating Beyonce?
Oh yeah.
I think that might be one. I gotta find it.
Hey, her voice is kind of crazy. Like, because I really thought that was Beyonce. So I'm like, wait, what? Why would Beyonce? Oh, this is a random person. I think that the Tina Turner one was also contributed to by the fact that like when Tina was hot, like film was not that hot. Like it wasn't like she was on TV regularly for us to like see her and like be like. Another one, Jamie Foxx's Ray was crazy. Like Jamie Foxx's Ray was so good. I was like, I saw Ray Charles and was like, you not him for real no more. You kind of got to give it up, bro. Like
this movie a little messed up, but you know, Radio was built like kind of on somewhat of a true story. But Cuba Gooding Jr. did a great job. Like
oh no, that's a super true story. So
yeah,
all right. So listen, Josh, just swallow your water, please. Swallow your water because it's gonna get crazy. So Radio from South Carolina, right? Now, for those of you who don't know, I played at NC State. Now, our pipeline states are North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. One of my best friends, one of my best teammates that me and him thick as thieves all through college. A guy named Mike Rose. He played in South Carolina. Their school apparently played Radio School like they were rivals. And this man used every slur in the book to describe radio because he was like, radio talk, all the stuff in the world, everything you could imagine he could say. He'll say it. You think the Canberra Crazies, man, they ain't got nothing on radio. And I'm like, what? And he like, yeah, but that movie was terrible. I ain't never watched. I'm like, yo, what is radio doing traumatizing these kids to the point where like they hate this man? But he called up his teammate because I was like, bro, there's no way that the guy that Cuba Gooden played was like that. He called up his teammate And he said, "Hey man, what you think about radio?" The first thing that came out of my mouth, "Man, F radio." I said, "What? Yo, what is going on down there?"
Hey, we gotta get Mike Rose back on the show, bro. I think that was our best episode.
Absolutely. That. Oh, I forgot Mike Rose was on the show, man.
Yeah.
Love my guy. We got our back. He's a 2-time dad and a husband now. So
man, so a lot happened since the pod launch.
Yeah,
man.
There's been a lot going on, man. There's been a lot going on. But Mike, I know you listen to this up there in Canada. Love you, boy. Hey, it was great playing with you. I hope we need to talk again soon, Mike. We need to talk again soon. But you know who don't need to talk again soon? Bradley Beal and that fan whose hat he slapped off. You know who probably never needs to talk again? Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. He has asked out. He has requested a trade. He no longer wants to play for the organization and followed it up with a series of tweets. You know who also may never need to speak again? All the talking heads who said NIL was going to make it so that Kentucky was in the national championship every year because we have the blue blood basketball school of FAU in the Final Four this year. Folks, we got a great show for y'all. Y'all boys ready for this?
Ready for it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, let's get into it. What's up, y'all? Have a seat. It's your favorite hour of the week with the Facts Over Axe crew. We got the master of the mix and master in the building, Josh Guyton.
That is I.
We got the money man, the man of the parent, Chris Allen in the building.
Right here.
And then you got the little old MC. That's me, Kenton Gibbs. Now, folks, Lamar Jackson allegedly asked for a trade on March 2nd. Almost a month ago at this point. That's at the beginning of the month. We're at the 28th. This thing is almost over. What do y'all think? Is this relationship repairable? And where do you think he lands if he does get traded?
Oh, so I don't even think it's a conversation of whether or not it's repairable. That relationship wasn't repairable way before we heard he requested a trade. Once Baltimore came out and said, "We're not paying you," once Lamar Jackson knew he didn't have to trust the organization, once they didn't give him enough pieces, once he spent that many seasons there and his best offensive weapon was Hollywood Brown, that relationship had been long gone. I don't think it's repairable. And honestly, I'm not sure where he goes. I think it's a best bidder kind of situation like this because a lot of teams this offseason, it seems like any team without a quarterback has made it a priority. Like, yeah, I need to either go get a quarterback or we making it a priority to draft a quarterback. So I don't want to see another season where Lamar is sitting out, but this relationship is not repairable. And if he doesn't get traded, I don't see him playing another game in a Baltimore jersey.
Okay. All right. So you think he's going to sit it out if they don't trade him? You think he's going to be a
I think so.
situation?
I would too.
Okay, Chris, what you thinking? Is this relationship repairable?
You know what? It's not repairable, but the Ravens messed up. Let me tell you why. They let this go on way too long. Couple reasons here, right? For one, not a world. No, it's messy. You know, I'm gonna give y'all a crazy analogy, right? You know, you and your girl on paper or in the public, y'all can look like y'all the best couple ever, right? And it be drama free still. You know, y'all still know y'all working on stuff. But as soon as everybody in the friend group know you and your girl having problems, they like, hey, bro, you got to leave her alone. Hey, homegirl, you got to leave him alone. You know, then it get messy. So now the Ravens in a situation where everybody know how messy it is.
It's when Shorty get on Facebook and IG dropping all them posts about knowing self-worth and like, I ain't going to accept less than I'm worth again.
Yeah.
That's when scary hours start. That's when scary hours start, brother.
The Ravens in that realm now where they like, hey, man, we sorry. Don't tell nobody we did this to you, man. Please. Oh, no. So now every team know they going to be desperate to get him up out of there. So, Gibbs, if you an owner or a GM for one of these football teams, why you making a grand slam offer for Lamar? I'm not. I'm going to wait till he sit out 5 games. Y'all still got to pay him. Then y'all come begging me, please just give us 2 second-round picks and a third-round pick for him. Please. He costed us $130 million. Please come get him. I'm going to beg you to take Lamar Jackson off my hands. You know what I mean? So they let this go on too long. They could have got this over with. When Gibbs, it was early early in the season last year. They could have got.
Yeah,
the
about week 6, week 7.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
nah, man. Nah.
You know what's really crazy about the Lamar Jackson saga with the Ravens? I have long believed that the Ravens are a well-run, serious franchise, and they have been since their inception, pretty much. Their first ever draft picks, 2 Hall of Famers. One, some undersized linebacker by the name of Ray, and Jonathan Ogden. That's Ray Lewis, of course, folks. 2 home runs. Very serious organization. But then you look down their list of quarterbacks. I'm going to name you their all-time leading passers, okay? Joe Flacco, Lamar Jackson, Kyle Bowler, Vinny Testaverde, Steve McNair, who only played there for, I believe, 2 years, Tony Banks, another guy who played there for 2 years, and then Elvis Gerbach, who played there for a year. These last 3, I don't think that y'all have heard of any of them. Anthony Wright, have y'all ever heard of him?
I didn't know Tony Banks. Ain't that my man from G Unit?
Wow. Wow. Eric Zier, have y'all ever heard of him?
No.
All right, now this one y'all might have actually heard of, but just not in this context. Jeff Blake, y'all ever heard of him?
Only because I play Madden.
He was a super bust. God bless his heart. Oh, so unfortunate. But anyway, that's another story for another time. I'm sorry, actually, I'm thinking of the wrong Blake. Well, wrong Jeff Blake. Yeah. Anyway, that's how like bad their quarterbacks are. Like the guy who is a secondary guy to a bust is one of their top 10 passers of all time. This is getting very unserious. Pay the man what he wants. You've seen that the offense gets 2 times better with him in it. Pay the man what he wants. And I know that everybody's upset about the whole, if you make it all guaranteed. Listen, at the end of the day, everybody keeps asking, do you think Lamar can win a Super Bowl? And that's the bar, right? I think the answer should be a resounding yes. If you can lead a team to 14 wins with Willie Snead as your wide receiver 1, yeah, you can win a Super Bowl. Yeah. Like, what are we doing here? This is not a serious thing happening here. It just doesn't make sense to me to even argue that, like, the Baltimore shouldn't pay him, because I'm going to tell you this. If you say it handicaps them from building the rest of that roster, well, what have they built while Lamar's on his rookie deal?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody tell me about the dynamic offensive weapons that they've given him while he's on his rookie deal. That's like, we can't pay you more. Mark Andrews? Is that it? They didn't want to make Orlando Brown a left tackle or pay him as such, so he left.
I mean, they gave him running backs, 2 solid running backs, not great, but solid running backs.
You talking about the 2 that's coming off ACL tears? Both of them?
I mean, I'm saying that happened, unfortunately, but they put effort into the running back category when it comes to those 2.
They fell into Gus Edwards. Nobody knew Gus Edwards was going to be that good, but I'll give you J.K. Dobbins, because they took him high enough to where, like, makes sense. Makes sense. It makes sense to me.
The intent for the running backs was there.
100%. I mean, listen, I'll say this. The intent for every position was there. Marquise Brown drafted him as high as they did. They thought he was going to be great. Rashard Bateman drafted him as high as he did. You didn't know that he was going to get hurt. At least with Bateman, it's like you didn't know he was hurt. Marquise Brown, that man, you know, everybody likes to talk about, he was bad this year because he got hurt. DeAndre Hopkins started the year suspended. Marquise Brown was on the Cardinals for basically the entire offseason. He was there all throughout training camp, all that stuff. He was slotted as the number 1 receiver for the Cardinals until DeAndre Hopkins came back with Kyler Murray healthy. And what happened there? What did he do? Nothing. Zip.
He got benched.
He didn't piss a drop. Like, at the end of the day, I watched that Lions game where, what's his name? What's the kicker's name? Help me out. Justin Tucker hit the NFL record. What was it? 66?
62. I think.
Either way it goes, I watched
60 plus.
The 60-plus yarder be hit. That game should have never been that close if it wasn't for Hollywood Brown. That man dropped 3 touchdowns that all hit him on the hands. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like, you can say what you want, but that man has made it. He has made a way out of absolute nothing. out of absolute zero, and y'all don't want to pay him, hey, that's between y'all and y'all. That's, again, you're going to get what you deserve, and nobody's going to feel bad for you. Nobody's going to feel bad for you. Your backups are knockoff brands of Lamar, and nobody's going to feel bad for you. Nobody.
They Lamar in a dicky fit.
Oh, no. It's like Lamar is grape Kool-Aid and Huntley is
Weiler's
grape drink. He's grape drink. He's a little hug juice where you got to poke a hole in the aluminum foil to get in there. That's who he is. Like, come on. What are we doing here?
Eat a quarter hug.
I had one of those the other day, and I was like, ew. Has it always tasted like this?
It has, man. You just got older, man. You just got older.
I was so disgusted. I'm like, bro, this is terrible. But yeah, no, I think the Ravens are going to pay for this. But the Colts said they're going to kick the tires. They said they're going to look into acquiring them. And that's a thing that's going on there. So what do y'all think would happen if Lamar goes to the Colts?
I think that the Colts have enough pieces to where they can make some noise. Lamar is a top tier enough quarterback to where if you get a team like Indiana, who finished, they were what, 4-12, 5-11, something like that.
Some along those lines.
Because they tied a game. But if you're looking at the division, at the top of that division is Jacksonville, who could possibly have a better season. But I think that division is open up for grabs. If you take Lamar on top of Jonathan Taylor is still there, right?
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's still there.
That's the best offensive weapon that man have ever had, and you still got Pittman over there. Those are the two best offensive weapons that Lamar would have had in his entire career.
Yeah.
So I think that division is open for a W.
And I'm gonna tell you this: that defense too. Ooh-wee. Like that's, you're gonna be looking at something crazy. And I'll say this: since Andrew Luck retired, they have had a different starting quarterback for game one every single year. You shore up stability at a position where you need stability. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't think the price would be that high, based on the fact that, like, realistically, if he said he's not playing for y'all no more, what are you gonna do? Like, would you rather let him walk for nothing to prove a point, or let him go for something? I think everybody learned from the Magic. If a player don't want to be there no more, you better get something in return.
Yeah.
Because if you let them leave outright, if you let this contract, if you say, hey, he don't want to sign a franchise tender, and he just walks clean in free agency next year, honestly, you should be looked at as a joke for the rest of your career as a GM. And Ozzie Newsome would have to unretire to come undo some of this crap that y'all have done. And let that man retire. The Wizard of Oz has been great for years. He was a great tight end in the 80s. He was a great GM all through the 90s and the 2000s. Let that man retire in peace. Let him go off the greener pastures. He's not trying to be the GM no more, but y'all not trying to pay one of the most electric players in the game. Shame on you, Ravens. Shame on y'all. Also, allegedly, Dan Campbell came out and said, we have a quarterback and a good one, so we at the Lions don't want him. And I said, that can't be true. That just cannot be true. I've been looking it up all day, trying to find out that was a lie. And I
didn't hear him get on record and say that, but at the same time, I wouldn't be mad if my Lions didn't give anything up for Lamar.
Hey, get out of here, bro. Get out of here.
It's two firsts?
Get out of here. Yes! Give up them two firsts.
I think,
bro, you gotta remember, Gibbs a Lamar fan, bro. Like that's Lamar. What? Lamar, his guy.
I like Lamar too.
I like Lamar too, but Gibbs been advocating for Lamar since Lamar got into the league.
Can I just ask y'all a question? And I'm not even like joking here. Right? If somebody gave you his blind resume, right? Said a quarterback that's a former unanimous MVP, 26 years old. And we know how long quarterbacks play, but even if we said he's not going to have that type of longevity because of his style of play, and said that he's going to have 5 more years of being who he is, who took a team to 14 wins with a tight end and a slot receiver who ran 4.6 as his number one guy, was coming to your team for 2. How much you think the Jets finna give up for 1 year of Aaron Rodgers? Maybe 2 tops. And you're telling me that you
it's a
wouldn't give
reason
up
why
2
the Jets
firsts?
are the Jets. And I know the Lions are the Lions, but
I feel like the Lions ain't hurting if they take them. They gain if they ain't hurting if they don't take them, and they ain't gaining that much by taking them because they already in the upper trajectory. You got
Here's my thing. If you give the Ravens back Goff and a first, I think they'll take that. Because think about it this way. In order for them to deny that, they'd have to get something better. Who's going to give them something better? A plug-and-play quarterback from day one that you know, like, he's not going to do nothing crazy. He's not going to throw for 5,000 yards. But he's also not going to be terrible. Like, your team is now not playing themselves out of games because he's there. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they do that? Because, again, he could walk for nothing in a year.
that's true.
So would you give up Goff in the first? Would you be upset at Goff in the first?
No, I wouldn't be upset at Goff in the first.
I say that's the right buying price, but if you gotta give up more than that, I don't know.
I feel you, and I agree to that. I agree that if you got to give up Goff and multiple firsts for a guy that's finna hit free agency anyway, and as he hits free agency, this team's trajectory is like, I mean, that's just the reality. Aiden Hutchinson is only gonna get better with another.
I'm saying the Lions have
That's
been
what I'm
doing
saying.
a really good job drafting. I wouldn't give up two first.
Jameson Williams looks like a dog. He looks like an animal out there. That defense is getting better. They started to pick it up toward the end of the season. To me, if you give up the two first, you trade Jared Goff somewhere else for like a second and a third, maybe just a third, whatever. And you know what I mean? Or maybe 2/3, and you move on from there. But you get some picks back. May not be first rounders, of course. But at the end of the day, with the way we've been hitting, our 6th round linebacker has turned out to be a really good starter for us. Shout out to Rodrigo. We love you, baby. But anyway, that's you know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I ain't mad at it. But anywho, we're going to move on because clearly y'all not feeling me on the Lamar talk. Y'all leaving me out here on the cold.
I like Lamar. I would love to see Lamar on the Lions, but not for that asking price. Especially, and I'm not. It was a point on this show when I was calling Jared Goff the worst quarterback in Lions history. But with the system that they've had him in, as long as he's not throwing over 15 yards, Jared Goff is a good quarterback. Just keep it within 15 yards. Yeah.
Hey, we had Joey Harrington. Like, and that was like during our formative years when we watched Joey Harrington.
No, man, I've seen that first year. I saw Jared Goff throw some bad passes, man.
I mean, sure, but like Joey Harrington was so bad. Like Joey Harrington was so bad. Like,
We had Dan Orlowski.
bro. Oh,
We
my
had
God.
Drew Stanton.
Oh my God, Drew Stanton was. Listen, he was bad.
Hey,
But
Lions
like,
quarterbacks were
talk
so
about
bad. John
Stanton,
Kitten looked like Tom Brady
John
compared
Kitna's
to the
not
other
in the,
quarterbacks.
he's not in the conversation for
Yeah.
worst Lions quarterback. I don't think he's in the conversation. I don't. Dan Orlowski ran out the back of the end zone willingly, and like thought the play was still going too. Like, somebody get that man a map, because that's just But no, that's. Listen, I'm sorry, but I ain't on the bandwagon of we got a quarterback in the good. Maybe that's just me. But we're gonna go from Lamar to Lamarch Madness, folks. We have a Final Four that I don't think anybody predicted. I don't think they said out of 2 million brackets there were approximate or exactly, I believe, 32 or 33 that picked this Final Four.
I didn't have one of those four.
And this Final Four being San Diego State, Florida Atlantic, Miami, and UConn. Fellas, what does this say about college basketball? And do you think it's bad for college basketball or good for college basketball to have some parity to where these are teams outside of UConn that, for the most part, nobody thinks of when they talk college basketball?
So what this says about college basketball is that the internet is a powerful place. Because I feel like we live in an age where, I mean, of course, you look at the programs like UConn at some point in time has kind of been that program. But if you look at the top programs, those are the ones that usually got the most exposure. Those are the ones that, players tended to go towards because they wanted to get that exposure. They wanted to get scouted. And when, social media was a newer thing, they wanted to be on the internet.
Right.
The way the internet has changed that is The most talented players already have a following. They already play AAU ball. They've already played in these tournaments. They already have hoops mixtapes out. So they're going to the place that's most convenient for them. And they're going to the place where, I can start immediately, or I'm in this kind of system. I can go ahead and get my bucket so I can get more clips on socials. I'm going to get scouted regardless, because a lot of scouts are using the internet instead of some old dude with a clipboard sitting in the stands. Think of the 3 of the 4 schools. What do all of those have in common?
They never been that far before.
They warm.
I didn't think
they got a good party culture.
I didn't think about that.
So players can go where they comfortable. They can go where they warm. They can go where it might be some extracurricular activities, and they can still hoop and get the exposure that they need to. And the what is the NIL? Is that the name of it?
NIL, yeah, NIL.
They don't have to worry about it because these top schools offering you bread. But if you got this following, if you on socials, some brand or somebody is gonna come and offer you some bread regardless of where you go because of your presence on social media. As opposed to you going to play for John Calipari and he offering to buy your mama a car, when 15 years ago, if you would have went to San Diego State, they gym capacity is 2,000 students, so they don't have that extra bread to spend for you to come to their school. But now players aren't worried about that.
I'm gonna tell you this: if you watch those, the U 30 for 30s. Miami done had NIL for a long time. You understand? You understand? They done had NIL for a long time, boy. Them boys was getting paid in the shade for quite some time. But I do love how Uncle Luke put it though. He said, "Listen, you think I'm gonna feel bad about giving a guy a couple $, so he don't break into somebody's house, so he ain't stealing the radios out your car? Remember when that was a thing? Remember when stealing car radios was a thing, boy? That was a wild time. But yeah." I mean, I ain't mad at him. So, But no, I do get you. I do get you there. Chris, what do you think about this Final Four, man? Is it a good thing, bad thing? What you think?
First, I gotta shout out them FAU Owls. My little brother go there, so shout out to them. It's a parade inside their city right now. It's a parade
inside their city. Yeah.
It's a parade inside their city. But, this tells me everything that I need to know, right? And Guy, now you have a great argument, Guy. But here's my thought process on this whole thing, right? College basketball can now have storylines, right? Yeah. You can now have a storyline for college basketball. Look at North Carolina. They won the whole tournament last year and didn't get invited back this year, right? But
they went to the Final Four. They didn't win it. They went to the Final Four. They went to the national championship. They went to national. Lost to Kansas.
I'm sorry. They went to the national championship. They didn't get invited this time. Right?
Anytime I get to take a dig at UNC, it's kind of obligated as an NC State grad that I do so. Go proceed.
Yeah. So, or this can also backfire, right? So storylines is good for narrative, good for exposure for NCAA basketball. It's good to build some revenue, right? But this can also backfire, right? Think about this, right? How excited are y'all to watch the play-in this year for NBA?
Oh, I'm extremely excited.
I'm pretty excited.
This is gonna be one of the best. I think this is gonna be one of the best play-ins.
Yeah, because I think the past play-ins we saw teams where we knew who was going to come out, but this is the first year. I feel like it's a toss-up in both conferences.
And not only that, the teams on the back end of the play-in, it was like y'all kind of don't gain anything by winning here.
Right?
Like, let's cool it, brother. Cool.
Right, but okay. So I agree. That's the same way I feel. But the reason why you're excited about it is because a lot of teams that aren't usually in the play-in are in the play-in this year, right? That's why, right?
That's right.
Yeah, true.
That's
okay.
Right. Yeah.
So now when it becomes upset paradise like the NCAA tournament has, it becomes like, what's the point of even seating these teams anymore? Like, what's the point of the tournament anymore? Like,
hey, I'll tell you, this was the first year that no one seed made it past the Sweet 16. This was the first year since 1970 something.
So now this could backfire because now it's like, what's the point of really watching that? Because it's gonna be a team I never heard of winning all the time. Just think about this, right? What if? Well, let me think of a team. What if the Brooklyn Nets? Well, they still in it because they had a good season. But what if? Give me a team that's sucking the league. What if the Rockets right now? And I know that's my team. But what if the Rockets right now was like, went to the playoffs. You would be like, man, I ain't really like who start over there again. You know,
I have a personal stance against Jalen Green. Whenever he's on TV, I will turn the channel. Just let you know.
So you wouldn't really be that eager to watch because it's like a bunch of people you don't know who they are gonna be there. So this could backfire for college basketball. I think they should do something quick. Not make it where all the top seeds, but maybe eliminate the seeding, or also maybe put more at stake for this tournament. Make it a double elimination, because I tell you right now, if you gave Purdue a second chance, they gonna get the ball to the 7'5" guy they got down low, that Yao Ming Jr. They gonna get the ball to him down low this second time around.
By the way, just to interject a little bit, he gonna be a scrub if he goes to the league.
Oh, I mean,
who the guy from Purdue?
Yeah,
Zach. He's talking about Zach.
I mean, yeah. He's Hashim to beat Junior. Like, let's just be.
That's rough.
But what I'm saying is, if you make it double elimination, now you got some excitement. So now the number one seed can get knocked off, and they gotta play. Let's say they gotta play every day to get to the championship, while the other teams can still play every weekend. They gotta play every day against teams that also have lost. You know, now you got more of a mystery. Now you got, like, you can have a comeback story now. But I think if this keeps happening, it's gonna be like, what's the point of seeding teams, and what's the point of kind of making this a big tournament? But
Chris, you have lost your lima beans, brother. What? That's what makes March Madness worth watching.
Yeah.
One minute you think that everything is copacetic, next thing, Farley Dickerson shows up. Like, that's why you watch it. That's why.
I mean, us just get kind of annoying after a while, though. It's like, bro, why these good teams keep losing? Like, it's like.
Chris, you're the first person to ever say that upset.
Cut off. Did Gibbs cut off for you, Chris?
Yeah, Gibbs cut out. Yeah. He was about to get on my case. Nah, we can't hear you.
we can't hear you.
But
I can't tell if his mic cut out because his take was too spicy or because he's about to say something crazy.
But I mean, I get your point though, Guy. I get your point though, because I mean, at the end of the day, people can go to a random school and they can hoop, they can get their money, get their clout up, and still be at a fun school with their extracurricular activities.
And also, the Socrates got an interesting point. If you look at, the best teams in the NBA, or if you look at the best players across the country, Gibbs still can't hear you. Most of those players are foreign, semi-pro, things like that. So if you take that into account, it's not a lot of American players that's going through that college system. Even if you look at like the American players that have had some kind of, clout or anything going into the NBA, a lot of them have been, we went through this route, or we played in the G League, or we played overseas.
Right. And for
still
example,
no Gibbs.
Florida Atlantic was 33-3, I believe, in this regular season, right? How are they a 9th seed? Like,
conference.
You know
it's all about conference. It's all about
But 9th seed, and you only lost 3 games all year. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Still
Clean
no.
Feed is selling me crazy. This is disgusting.
I do hear you. I don't hear you in Clean Feed though. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but maybe try to reset if you can hear us.
No, we can't hear you though.
Nah, it still say connecting in Clean Feed. I'm not sure what point Gibbs was making. Gibbs, I'm getting something from you.
I'm gonna have to restart my.
You good? You good?
Shout out to North Carolina Wi-Fi. I came with a Campbell's can of soup.
That boy got that Vonage internet.
Yeah, boy.
Somebody called him on his dial-up.
Hey, listen, my mama told me to get off the phone. Get off the internet while she's trying to use the phone. But anywho, Chris, what I said was, hating upsets is peak landlord behavior. What is wrong with you? Who doesn't want the little guy to win? Who doesn't want a good upset here and there?
Listen, I said it makes a great storyline, right? But what I'm saying is, if I gotta watch San Diego State play every year as a 13 seed and beating the 4th or 2nd seed, it's not really. But
Chris, have you watched college basketball? Like, actually watch the top teams of college basketball? There's no difference. Like there's the actual.
It's not like the NBA. One player
That's what I'm
take
saying.
over the game like that all the time.
But here's what I'm saying. If you watch the top teams to the bottom teams, most of the top teams have like crazy identities that get them there, right? So for years we saw Bob Hudgens at West Virginia, which was known as Press Virginia. Why? Because they would just press you the entire game. From start to finish,
Man,
64 feet.
Suicides, boy. Them boys suicides, dog.
You look at Virginia and what Tony Bennett has rolling, the pack line defense. They are the least sexy team in the universe, bro. That is the worst style of basketball to ever watch. And yet it works. It got them a national championship. Like, you can't argue with the results. Look at SMU when Larry Brown was there breaking all them rules and whatnot. Larry Brown won the Pistons a championship, though, so we're going to love you forever, too. Anyway, look at SMU when he was there. Ooh, look at them drawing up all those nice mid-range jumpers. Like, none of it was exciting. It's college basketball. These guys run the same sets that they've been running since the 90s with players that are slightly better than the ones they had in the 90s. That's it. That's all. Like, it's in essence very much so the same game. So, you know, there's very few teams that are actually exciting to watch. I do think that they may run into a problem if like they have too many years straight of no big brands coming into the.
That's what I'm saying.
Final Four.
I've said it could become a problem. That's what I'm saying. Not now.
Yeah.
It makes a storyline now, but after a while, it's gonna be like, ain't no point in making no bracket.
Yeah, 1 year is fun though. 1 year of it not working out, that's fun.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Yeah, we on the same page, then. Okay, you was about to agree with me, but we on the same page. All right.
Yeah, because we love an upset. We love an upset. We love to see a Final Four that is absolute chaos and anarchy and got everybody crying and throwing up and deleting their brackets. We love that. And of course, there's always that one person that's gonna lie. Man, I knew FAU was gonna take it all alone, bro. I could have told you, bro. FAU was gonna be crazy.
My bracket's sitting at 67%, but my Final Four was Arizona, Marquette, Houston, and UCLA.
Hate that for you. I don't even do brackets no more, bro. I like mine got too cooked too early, and I start getting mad and being like, I don't want to do this anymore.
If you win, you get $1 million. So I do it just out of something might happen.
Here's the thing. Like, here's the
That's
problem.
what I do too, folks.
Here's the problem with my ego, which is like something I've had to work on through therapy and a lot of effort here. We're gonna get a little personal on Facts Over Acts today. I've like had to intentionally do things that I'm bad at, so like I can like learn that life isn't always about winning and just do things you're bad at sometimes. Like, I bowl with two hands, but like I just started bowling with one hand. I used to bowl with two hands for a while. Just kind of got good at it, like overnight. I used to like hate bowling because I was bad at it, and then like I got good at it. And my therapist was like, "You're defeating the purpose if you get good at bowling. Like, you being bad at it was the thing that you were supposed to do." And I'm like, "Well,
You gotta find something else you bad at, man.
I'm not about. It's not
I'll
that
play
many things
tennis
I'm
or
bad
something,
at."
man.
Hey, I played what's that, pickleball for a minute, bro. Them old people be working, boy. This old lady named Miss Gertrude broke me down one time. I've been looking for her ever since. I've been trying to spin the block on her, walking around Lifetime Fitness, just spin the paddle in my hand like, yeah.
Gibbs, do something like audio, video troubleshooting or something, you know.
Oh man, that's
Wow.
a shot. That's a
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, that hurts.
and you can
That hurts
also
a lot.
rap, Gibbs. Make a rap. I mean, you know.
I mean, listen, is there such a thing as a bad rapper? We know that Blueface exists.
I love
Is
you
there
think
such a-
Gibbs will snap, man.
I think I would too. I think I'd be all right at it.
I
But
ain't got no rhythm in my body, so.
yeah, I don't got no rhythm either. But rapping ain't really like, you don't need like dancing rhythm. Like, you just need the timing in your head and the words.
I ain't got
to,
that.
like-
I ain't got
Listen, enough of the therapy session. We're gonna get back into the sports now. We're gonna get back into the
that.
sports.
Let me get to this Embiid and Joker, man.
Hold on, we gonna get to it, but first we gotta talk. How the betting man want to skip the parlays being messed up?
yeah.
How the betting man? Bradley Beal is currently being investigated for assault after he slapped a patron's hat off, who screamed at him, and I quote, "F you, Bradley Beal, you effed me out of $1,300." To which he smacked off his hat and said, "I don't play the game for you. I don't play the game for your little bets or your parlays. I don't care about that." Fellas, what do y'all think about this? Was Bradley Beal wrong? Are the fans taking it too far? Should he have controlled himself?
Not wrong at all. Not wrong at all. The fans been taking it too far for a long time, and Smacking somebody.
Taking it too long is a huge pause moment.
Smacking somebody's hat off is not grounds for assault. I know technically it is, but as a basketball player, I'll be very irritated too, because if you look at not only basketball fans in attendance, but casual basketball fans and the trend of what it means to watch a basketball for the most part on social media, unless you have, a podcast of us talking about clips or other sports specific podcasts, it's all about parlays. Mm-hmm. The reason that 90% of most casual basketball watchers wouldn't know who PJ Tucker is if they wasn't trying to place parlays, getting some easy money. You got a sports podcast. Guess how many times does somebody hit you that you've never heard talk about basketball, ask you about a parlay? I'm sure it's been more than once.
Hey, it's actually a kind of weird amount. And,
exactly.
And honestly, during basketball, it's not that bad. But during football season, it gives, bro. You think golf gonna throw for 250? I don't know, bro. I'm not in their huddle. I haven't been to their game planning sessions. I don't know whether or not he was the main focus of the game. I don't know.
Somebody seen I posted my podcast on my IG story, and they replied to it and said it was a young lady. Never had a conversation with her before. Had no idea she had any interest in sports. She said, should I do Chris Paul plus 8 rebounds? I said, you know what I said? Yeah, go ahead.
Wow.
Wow. Go ahead and do that.
The Dooney man giveth and the Dooney man taketh away. This guy. Dooney. This guy. What is wrong with bro? He said plus 8 rebounds?
Go ahead.
And you know her bet was cooked. You know he didn't get them 8 rebounds. Mm-hmm. You know he didn't.
Good, because just watch the game for the sake of watching the game, man.
Listen, Chris, the bettors don't actually watch the game most of the time, right? Like, that's what you...
100% they don't. But, see, this is the thing, though. This is the thing, bro. Y'all know, I don't gamble to the point where it's like... I gamble when I know I'm about to be in the house all day, and I know I'm be watching all the game. Like Christmas Day, I'm always gonna throw about 3 parlays in for Christmas Day, because I know all day Christmas Day I'm gonna be at my mom's house watching basketball all day. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So that is my point, though. My point is, how is a little bitty $25 that could have been $1,300? These are like scratch offs, right? When you make a parlay that big, where you can get a payout off a little bit of money.
I don't think that was a $25 bet. I don't think he was kirking on him over a $25 bet.
No.
I mean,
no. If it pay out $1,300, it's the same game parlay. That means he probably did like 11 lines on it, and it was probably a high odds. That's what it was. It's probably a high odds bet. It wasn't no big parlay, because big parlay, you put a lot of money on a big parlay, it's gonna pay more than $1,300.
You screaming F you at somebody over $25.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The point of betting is to have a passion when you watch the game. Like if I put a parlay in and I watch the game, I'm sweating now. AD, you bet not get injured in the third quarter. You got 21. I need you to get 25. You bet not get injured. You know what I mean? And then, it's like, I hate AD if he did do it. But at the end of the day, I ain't got to go say that to AD. I be in my house saying that, bro. Because $25 is not going to make or break me. Right? You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like, the little bit of money you lose, these is like scratch-off tickets. They're designed to make you lose. Yeah. Why you think Vegas is an actual city that makes money off gambling? Gambling is designed to make you lose.
It ain't just the processing fees. That ain't the only place they're getting the money from.
Exactly. It's designed to make you lose. So why are you going to go mess up Bradley Beal Day because he didn't make your parlay, and then you going to get mad and press charges on him because he said something to you about it?
Let me tell you, for the old Facts Over X listeners, y'all have already heard this story, but I'm going to tell y'all about the day that Kenton Gibbs retired from betting for fame.
Hey, he said this that part like confident.
Hey, listen, bro, it was supposed to hit. I had Pascal Siakam and Jason Tatum with more points than Joel Embiid, and there was something else on there, and everything. It was like 1 or 2 more legs on it. Everything hit, and I'm watching the 76ers game. And it's the first quarter, and Joel Embiid is going off. I'm sweating a little bit. I'm like, oh boy, like this ain't gonna go well for me. He gets hurt, goes in the locker room in the middle of the first. I'm like, whew, that's all right. We're good to go, boys. We're good. We gonna cash out this couple hundred, and then I'm I might throw a little something back in there. Bro, when I tell you in that third quarter, like it was like wrestling or something. I could just hear Stone Cold Steve Austin theme song. I could just hear it talking about Joel Embiid is back in the game. What a gutsy
You know
performance.
Embiid, a big wrestling fan, he probably gave you the DX chops when he came back.
When I tell you, I watched him give them bucket after bucket after, and it was a point, rebound, and assist thing. Bro, when he just kept giving them more buckets, I'm like, all right, we're going to be all right. He's not even on the boards like that. We good. Then he had like one possession where he got 3 offensive rebounds and one. I was like, bro, I'm cooked.
Okay, so we hear about the worst. What's the best parlay y'all ever hit?
I give free money out on this podcast all the time. In 2020, right? I told everybody on Facts Over Acts, AD is going to go to the Lakers. No, 2019, I told everybody, AD is going to go to the Lakers. The Lakers going to win a championship either this year or next year. It was plus 5,000 odds. Plus 5,000 odds if you bet on before AD got to the Lakers. The day AD got traded to the Lakers odds went from plus 5,000, which plus 5,000 means you put $100 in, you get $5,000 back for the listeners. If the day that AD went to the Lakers, the odds went to plus 500, which means you only get $500 back. And I bet that before AD went to the Lakers, I knew he was. It's like LeBron there. He going to get AD to the Lakers. The Lakers won a championship 2020, 5K. 5K off of one bet, season-long bet. That wasn't a parlay, but it's a season-long bet. Now, the best parlay I ever hit, so it was Christmas Day 2021, I believe. I was on Bovada because it wasn't legal in Florida. Like, betting apps was legal in Florida. I had every favorite to win by the spread, right? Except the last game, the Nuggets was the last game. And I'm like, something tell me the 10 o'clock game on Christmas Day, it's just going to be some mess. So I took the underdogs in that game. And $5 paid out, I think it was $860, right? Off of $5. So it was a good hit. It was a real good hit. But I say this to say, these are also lottery tickets. Like $5 doesn't give you $800 in no other situation unless it's a lottery type of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
The best parlay I hit ever wasn't even for me. I remember I did again when I tell y'all like I have a very addictive personality, and so like when I'm done with something, I'm really done with it. Like I'm like, all right, it's cooked. So my shorty at the time asked me about which bowl games to pick and like who was gonna win. It was like a random Saturday in late December where it was like a bunch of bowl games. I'm sorry, these are gonna be the winners. And then she was like, what else can I add to this to like make some more money? I was like, I don't know. I mean, I guess do the 25, 15, 10 thing. Y'all know what that is, right? You bet the leading scorer is gonna get 25, second lead 15, and this for both teams, by the way. So it's you know, all in one game and whatnot. Dog, she bet 20 on that, and like it was like all of the bowl games were right, and that 25, 15, 10 hit. And like the payout was like crazy. Like that was like rent for the month type payout. And I was like, oh, maybe I need to get back into sports betting. And then I thought about it. And I was like, this is how they get you, Ken. Yep. You win that one time and then you give up all your money over like trying to chase that one dragon again. Yeah. No, we will not do that.
And this is why they allow you to advertise your parlay slip on all social media. Y'all notice that? That's free. I don't post none of my slips because that's free advertisement for the betting apps. You know that's literally free advertisement for them.
Now listen, I ain't betting on Nathan. I ain't betting on Nathan no more. They got my little $20. That's it.
Just real quick, my best parlay. I put 5 down, and it was the free 5 they give you when somebody refer you. Actually, I think one of y'all referred me. It was that it was the first play in. You remember the Lakers Warriors?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna get into sports betting. I've never been a betting person. I got an addictive personality as well. So like I'm gonna just use this 5 and get up out of here regardless of what happened. I was just on there clicking stuff. You remember that's when Steph was playing, but Clay was hurt, Draymond was hurt, somebody else was hurt. I put Wiggins plus 8 rebounds, Steph plus 8 rebounds, LeBron plus 8 rebounds, LeBron plus 10 assists, Steph over 40, and for the Warriors to cover the spread. $5 gave me $700. I said, I'm out of here. That's the last parlay I'm ever doing. It was the first and the last I ever put in.
I love that. I love that for you. Again, it's Smart folks, get out in time.
Oh, and
Unless you
also I
got
told
dogs-
everybody on the Facts Over X pod Jamar Chase was going to win Rookie of the Year, but it's free money, man.
We've had a ton of really good predictions on this show. Like, we've had a ton of them from the start of this. But, I mean, it's, again,
Chris
none of us,
Jokic MVPs 2 straight years. Y'all ain't listen to him.
none of us is going to be on the sideline yelling, why the F Batum in? Like, that's not us. That's not us. We are not those people that's going to be yelling about
I mean, seriously, though, if it's fourth quarter, I'm not trying to see Batum in there neither.
It depends, bro. Cause think about it. It depends for me. Hey, I know it's a silly bar, but it depends. Because PJ Tucker on the floor in the fourth quarter is equivalent to Batum to me. I mean,
I don't know about that. I don't know. I think PJ Tucker
but Batum and PJ Tucker kind of cancel each other out.
Right.
I think they close, but Batum, he don't give you the same defensive.
It's just because his name Batum and he ain't got all the Jordans like PJ, bro. That's what
listen,
it is.
I love Nick Batum. I was like a Nick Batum stan when he was with. Bro, fun fact about me. When I was playing my player, I can't remember what 2K it was. I made a shooting guard, and the lineup was Dame, me, Batum, and LaMarcus Aldridge, and we won like 6 straight championships. And Batum became
was
like
a problem.
He became like the greatest 3-and-D player of all time. Like, literally, like, if it wasn't me or Dame, it was Batum in the corner right there. But I'm sorry, like, he fell off so hard. Like, his fall was like not a gradual, like, oh, he's getting worse over time. It was like he was good in Portland, and then he was good for like 1 or 2 years after Portland, and then he fell off a cliff. But I digress. Long story short, we're not gonna be yelling on the side because, again, we saw the malice at the palace in real time. We saw what happens if those professional athletes get mad and things go wrong. You understand? We don't play those games. We don't, just like the guy that was yelling at Isaiah Thomas and calling him all those names and said, I just want a Frosty. Like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Because Isaiah Thomas might not be the one to hit you. It might be somebody else. And while we look at NBA players like, oh, they're tall, lanky, and skinny, those are still professional athletes, brother. They got some coordination and all that. That's most of y'all don't. So that's just the truth on that. Now, fellas, while we talk about basketball and bets and whatnot, and some guys who probably have helped a many a parlay have gotten into the Hall of Fame. This NBA Hall of Fame class includes Dwayne Wade, Dirk Nowitzki, Paul Gasol, Tony Parker, Becky Hammond, and Greg Popovich. What do y'all think about this class?
Solid class. Every person in there is super deserving. I mean, you have all-time great players, timeless players, with the exception of probably Tony Parker. I don't think history is going to be too kind to Tony Parker, just because, one basketball revisionist, like, he was part of a system. He wouldn't ball anywhere else, which could possibly be true. And then also just, recent podcast memory and a lot of players speaking out about Tony Parker. He wasn't the kindest teammate to have. So, but every person there is deserving. And I know they usually do like an international ambassador 1, 2, but I don't think they did that this year. But I think it's an elite class.
Is Tony Parker not an international ambassador type dude?
I mean, I thought he would have got in on his basketball merit. He is a 5-time champion, 1-time Finals MVP. I don't know how many All-Star games he got in there, but I think that's enough of a resume to get in.
I mean, I guess Chris, am I the only one here that's looking at Tony Parker's resume like it looked funny in the light?
I'm looking it up too. Like,
it looked funny in the light to me.
That's why the show called Facts Over Acts, because some stuff, if you Google it, it's funny in the light, but if you was there,
but we were there, and I'm not sure. Like, respectfully,
Tony Parker was ripping.
Respectfully, Tony Parker did his thing, and he came down the stretch a lot of times.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing on whether or not he did his thing, but like, to me, it's not fair to put a guy in because his team won championships. Like, what? Like, that's not. I mean, I guess.
When you're the starting point guard on those championship teams, though, it mattered, and putting up the production and getting the Finals MVP.
Finals MVP.
Yeah, getting the Finals MVP.
Your team's won 4, and you got 1.
He was on the team with Timmy.
You was the best player one time. And Timmy didn't even win all the finals MVPs. Didn't Kawhi win one?
Yeah, Kawhi got one.
I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time. I know that the NBA Hall of Fame is like the Hall of Very Good and the Hall of Fame. Because, like, we all know if there was a Tony Parker equivalent for the NFL, he wouldn't be getting in. Like, I think we could agree to that.
I'm trying to think of who that equivalent would be. But having 4 championships kind of crazy.
And baseball, you're definitely not getting in, brother.
Oh, baseball, you got to be batting 400 to get in there.
you got to be 400 and you got to be liked. You got to be likable.
Man.
If you aren't likable, you're cooked. And Tony Parker, that boy would have been well done, seared, pan-seared, throw the little bacon bits on top of them with the chives and the sour cream. That man would have been done. Overdone. If it was the Baseball Hall of Fame. But, you know, I don't know. Because, again, I watched them. And it's not just like I'm a Pistons fan, I hate Tony Parker thing. It's literally like, I watched him and I'm like, he's good. Like, he's really good. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But I'll ask you this. If Steve Francis is the point guard instead of him, how many more of those championships do you think they don't have that they do now?
I would say at least two. Because Tony Parker against the Heat in 2014 was a big factor for why they won.
Yeah.
Because he orchestrated that, one of the best offenses we ever seen. And then I would say the one in 2007, they still win against Bron, but Tony Parker
I say they 2 less. They lose the one against the Pistons because that was a game 7, and I just don't think Steve Francis has the composure in the late game decision making in order to pull off that championship.
Down the stretch, Tony was the glue.
But you cannot make this up. 5 Guys, I appreciate you for being in the chat. But where did this Jamal Crawford revisionist history come from?
Oh my God! Are we doing this again? Bro? Are we doing this again?
Bro,
I swear to God,
Jamal Crawford is not as good as y'all making it out to be. I don't know how long you've been watching hoops.
It's the hoops mixtape.
If you go on YouTube and type in Jamal Crawford, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Bro, Jamal was not like that.
Again, here's the thing. And for the listeners, I know that y'all are all sitting up here like, why are they so mad about this? We have been discussing this all week. Like, literally, it started on my TikTok when I was telling somebody that bag doesn't matter as much as production. And they were like, bag equals production. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Bron doesn't have a deep bag. He still produces. Giannis, no bag. He produces. Andre Miller, no bag. He produces. You've got a ton of players that they're back. Honestly, I'm going to say this.
I mean,
for all the Jokic can do with his passing and whatnot, that man has no bag.
And I'd say somebody that do have a bag that don't produce. Kyrie Irving.
Jason Williams, bag without production. Jamal Crawford, bag without production. Like, what are we doing here?
He's by far better than Tony Parker is by far better than Jamal Crawford. Tony Parker is a 4-time NBA champion and an NBA MVP. And there's only been one man in the history of the NBA to not play center and lead the league in points in the paint in the season, and that was Tony Parker.
Listen,
Jamal Crawford had a cool behind the back move. He didn't even start.
He won that 6 man a year. They won't let us live it down.
Bro, he won a 6 man a year, and he was competing with Lou Will.
You know what's crazy? Lou Will got more 6 man of the year than him with less bag.
That's what I bring up with Lou Will. He was competing with Lou Will.
Okay, do y'all want me to read off Jamal Crawford's career accolades? 3-time 6 man of the year.
That's it?
Yeah, to continue the show.
Wow. What? That wasn't dead space on purpose, people. Long story short, we're trying to tell you Jamal Crawford ain't him. And here I was priming up to slander Tony Parker because I really wanted to slander Tony Parker. I do not like that guy. I think he is wildly overrated. And it's not that I don't like him as a person because I don't know too much about him as a person. Although I have heard a bunch of terrible things, I don't really, whatever. I don't know who you are as a man, really. But Jesus, please stop bringing up Jamal Crawford. Please.
Like, why is that they go to every time you compare somebody, bro? Like, why is Jamal Crawford like the go to? Like, what did
my question is this? My question is this about Jamal. Like, all right, like not even joking here. I understand the mixtape era and all that, and all of like the behind the back, through the legs, like the crazy, the creativity of the finishes is important. But did we forget that there was like an actual, 20 other possessions that involved him during a game besides that one that we would get? That was like, the man was a turnover machine. Like, yes, those moves were crazy, but they also did not work a lot. Like, sometimes you do the behind the back and it would just go into the third row because he lost control. And that's just, what are we doing here? What are we doing? And again,
and he didn't show up for the Hawks when they needed him most.
And the worst part. The worst part about this. I actually like Jamal Crawford.
I do too.
His 3-point shooting severely underrated because all people remember is the bag. I believe he's one of the top 15 or 10 all time in 3-pointers made, and everybody forgets that because why? Tween behind the back leg.
On the next podcast, do we need to do a top 10 all time bag?
Josh, I swear to God, I will punch my computer. I will act like a Cowboys fan at the end of every year as if they don't know it's coming every single year. I will do it, Josh. We are not doing a top 10 all back. We are not doing it. Jesus Christ. But no, I think that this is a very solid class. But again, I'm not out on any other sport. I don't think he makes the Hall. I just don't. I'm sorry.
But basketball the Hall of Fame is very generous. So
yeah, it's generous.
That's why it's called the Basketball Hall of Fame. I mean, because it's not the NBA Hall of Fame.
I'll tell you what, boy. Guyton probably gonna be on the ballot next year. He ain't gonna get in, but they're gonna be very efficient. Very efficient in the rec. 17 rebounds a game in the rec. We're thinking about it. We could consider putting them in.
It only matter of time before they start putting content creators in the Chris Move going to the Basketball Hall of Fame. For sure.
Absolutely. But you know what? Can I say something real quick? Chris Move actually has he belongs. I know people are gonna hate me for saying that, but if you really think about what he did to push the game forward via gaming, via kids who were never athletic enough, always picked last, hated playing basketball, and then all of a sudden they were like, wait a minute,
True.
I can do this and be good at it?
I think Chris Move inspired more kids to go into basketball than Tony Parker.
Absolutely. I don't think that's close. Oh, God, here we go.
No,
the baguette kids over there in France. They were greatly influenced by the
in
guy.
France, maybe not, but in U.S., definitely.
The man wasn't even born in France. He was born in Belgium. That's a fun fact about Tony Parker. Born in Belgium. He's a fraud. I'm joking. Tony Parker.
If he inspired that many French people to hoop, then maybe he shouldn't be in because we got to watch Killian Hayes ball.
Hey, funny TikTok just came out about Killian Hayes, and we gonna let y'all go after this. But a hilarious TikTok just came out. This young lady said, "I refuse to clear up any rumor about me unless you said that my guac, y'all know what that means because you're adults, are trash." A young man stitched it and said, "Your guac is terrible, despicable. I heard you're the Killian Hayes of guac." I said, oh my God. She's got to clear those rumors up immediately. But anywho, I know y'all tired of us talking about Killian Hayes and French hoopers. Actually, Rudy Gobert too. Yeah. Tony, you gonna pay for them crimes.
Get him out of here. You gonna pay for those sins.
You gonna pay for them sins, brother. Wait, ain't Nick Batum French?
Hey, yo.
We know y'all tired of us talking about French basketball players and the Hall of Fame and Lamar need to trade. But come on back next week and the week after that and the week after that. Peace and love, y'all.